Oh my goodness, I'm Max Garcia, and today we're doing a book review. Yeah, this is a book. Something new for me because before this whole pandemic, I wasn't really reading. But then as soon as the pandemic came and we're quarantined, I picked up reading as my kind of hobby, and I kind of like reading. I've read a couple books so far, actually only two. But this is one of them, and that's The War on Normal People. The War on Humanity. And this book title could also be We're Fluffed, and Andrew Yang jokes around about that title because the majority of the book is talking about how there's so many problems going on right now and that those problems are only going to get worse in the future. And he uses a ton of data with thorough context to support his argument, and I really appreciate that. Like, one of his kind of slogans for his presidential campaign, which has already ended, was math. He believes in creativity, in being educated. He believes in all of that. He wants to use logical reasoning behind all of his arguments. And I really do believe in Andrew Yang. Whether you're Republican, Democrat, I really don't care. Like, honestly, Joe Biden or Donald Trump, I'm probably going to vote for Donald Trump in this upcoming election because I just don't trust in Joe Biden as a person. Like, I really do want a person who is good at public speaking, and sometimes Trump may be kind of too arrogant for himself, but he still is a really good speaker, and that's kind of dangerous because of World War II and who led that movement, but I'm getting way off topic here. So Andrew Yang, he wrote this whole entire book, and I absolutely loved it because it is talking about the problems of our present. And what are those problems? Well, it's how that a lot of people just aren't in the workforce. More and more people that are graduating high school are just kind of not working. And that's a more and more increasing percentage. Like, more people are living with their parents. And also, it was interesting to see how, like, the normal person doesn't graduate from college. The normal person just barely graduates high school and then does like a little bit of college. That's a normal person. The normal person makes less than $50,000 a year. That's the median. The normal person is below me, sadly, and I think I'm the middle class, but I guess I'm upper middle class because I live a very good life. I'm very appreciative, but a lot of people don't. And Andrew Yang identifies how the future is going to get worse because capitalism is coming for everyone's jobs. And that's a very interesting statement because the US has been founded on capitalism. It's been founded on people doing the American dream, starting up businesses. But yet again, new businesses aren't happening now. People are afraid to fail. And is that because of student loans? Is that because of social media? It's a good question. And now more than ever, people are spending their times playing video games. So people who do graduate college, they don't end up benefiting the world as much as they can. But here's what I'm talking about, where capitalism comes for people's jobs. Robots are better than humans at certain tasks now. Like processing, let's say, data on cats. A robot can sadly, using machine learning on identifying cats over a long period of time, looking at cats, like millions and trillions of images of cats, the computer can identify a cat better than us. And that actually applies to real life fields of medicine, such as radiology. And according to some AI that Andrew Yang talked about in this book, there's AI out there that could predict like tumors in x-rays better than doctors, and at a better percentage, and way faster too. AI isn't just coming for those basic jobs. It's coming for retail, sure. That person in McDonald's who used to take your orders is now being replaced by a screen. Yes, we all see that. But automation's coming for lawyers too, because lawyers, Andrew Yang identifies how he has a law degree, but he hasn't really used it. He's like CEO of Venture for America now, and he also kind of founded an education company in the past. But according to him, lawyers have a really repetitive job. They just look for past cases to deal with their case now. And robots are very good at looking at past data. So I'm not saying, oh, there's not going to be lawyers in the future, but I'm just saying there's going to be less of the lawyers. Is it going to make humans more efficient, more productive? I guess, but it's going to leave a lot of people without jobs. It's going to leave so many millions of people that are in the transportation industry without jobs. Think about, let's say in 2030, self-driving technology isn't really completely there yet, so they're requiring some people, some truck drivers to still be in the trucks. But then fast forward to 2040, it's going to be 10 years of that refinery through that software. Yes. Yeah, self-driving is going to be really good. And millions of people who are truck drivers. I know my uncle's a truck driver, and it's not that healthy of a job, but he still gets paid for it. It's still a very important job, but is that job category going to exist in the future? And Trump and Andrew Yang identifies how people have to kind of go with their creative side. They have to be entrepreneurs. They have to be like a YouTuber, or maybe a teacher, or a nurse. They have to have more human jobs, more human on human interactions. They have to be caring, maybe like a psychologist. Because those jobs, like a doctor, a lawyer, truck driving, they're kind of going to slowly go away with AI. It's kind of a dark future, but he lays that dark future so you can just appreciate universal basic income or freedom dividend that much more. Because so far, with like the little test trials of UBI, it's been positive to show how when people receive $1,000 a month, they're more likely to not be stressed, and they're more likely to take risks. They're more likely to move to a brand new state for maybe a new job. And it also gives those cities that were huge manufacturing cities in the past, like Detroit, a bunch of Midwestern cities, it gives those cities a renewed hope. And UBI, I think it's going to have to be a must. I would love to see other solutions to these problems, but these problems aren't that big right now. Like robots and AI, they're not too good right now. Like Siri on my phone still has a bunch of problems, but is it going to have a bunch of problems in 20, 50 years down the line? I don't think so. And I think a UBI, giving every adult from 18 to 65, no matter any conditions, even giving Warren Buffett $1,000 a month, or giving the guy that's on the street $1,000 a month, give everyone $1,000 a month and just see how it goes. Do a test trial for maybe like a couple cities. Like give everyone in that city $1,000 for maybe 3 months and see how it goes. See if creativity rises. See if people are willing to just go out of their way and help people because they don't have time constraints on their hand anymore. I don't know, I think UBI raises the human standard of living. UBI just takes away maybe depression. I think it's a great solution to maybe the rising suicide rates in the country. UBI is a very polarizing topic, and Andrew Yang explains it thoroughly in this book. You may not agree with him. At the end, he also talks about like a social credit system, how people can like give and donate hours based on like whether you perform certain tasks. I don't really truly believe in that because it kind of seems like too Black Mirror-ish for me, but I do believe in UBI, and there's actually already forms of UBI in this world right now. Alaska, with their rich oil fields throughout the state, they actually give like a little percentage of all their profit from the oiling in their state to the people of Alaska. It's not $1,000 a month, but it's still a considerable amount when you round out the total at the end of the year. So that's kind of a form of UBI, kind of smaller, but still a form. We still have like Social Security Act, that's kind of a form of UBI, like the Disability Act, unemployment status. Those are all kind of forms of UBI where you do get food stamps and some form of money like on welfare from the government. You do get some money from that. And once you put in UBI, there's no such thing as Social Security, unemployment status checks. Everyone is at the same level. And you can stay at that level. Let's say you don't want to work at all, then I guess you're just getting $12,000 a year. Can you live on that? Not really. But if you do get, let's say you're just working as like a part-time coach for a little league team, you get paid, I don't know, maybe $1,000 a month too, and then you make $24,000 a month. And you don't really have to worry about your bills as much. You still are going to be worrying them a little bit, but stress is less, and you get to kind of help people's lives in a much more impactful way. UBI, the Freedom Dividend. It's two sides of the issue, and Andrew Yang himself has done like his own little free trials, giving people $1,000 a month, and so far the results are positive. People are worrying that if you give, let's say, the drug addict $1,000 a month, is he going to spend it all on drugs? He might, and that still kind of helps the economy. But there's a chance that he might spend that money, instead of buying more drugs, on maybe drug rehab therapy. Or maybe, since he has that $1,000, he's no longer stressed and will no longer consume as much drugs. And that will slowly less and less and less until it's nothing. So far, the positives are really there. One huge negative is that it kind of is a socialism idea. But with this brand new technology of robots, the economy has to shift. Stocks going up have no way of depicting human satisfaction in life. Stocks is just profit. And companies are going to realize that you maybe don't need a whole entire workspace to make as much profit. Ooh, maybe we could cut this human and put in a robot who does the same thing over and over again, and that'll be more beneficial. Stocks? Who cares about that? It's about human satisfaction, and human satisfaction is at an all-time low. Gotta look for some change, right? Whether that's UBI or something. Something has to be different. And I really wish universal basic income can already become a thing. And right now, with this whole cataclysmic event going across the world, the US economy has kind of just been put on pause. Millions of people are filing for an unemployment benefit. And all those people, most people in this world who have gotten an income below 100,000 are getting a 1,200 stimulus check. It's only a one-time check, but that's kind of a form of UBI. One time out of 12 months, but still. I was very intrigued by this Freedom Dividend issue, and this book explains everything. Because when you read, I don't know, maybe just an article or two on this, you're not going to understand the issue. It's way bigger than that. The scope of this is huge. Like, how are you going to pay for it? I always wondered that. Because me and my friends, like, always talked about Andrew Yang and how he was, like, the most competent candidate for the 2020 presidential election. But most of my friends didn't believe in the universal basic income. And I didn't either, to be honest. I think that's absurd. Giving $1,000 a month to people? What? But then you just see all the benefits, and there's not too many downsides. And let's get into some of that now. How will you pay for it? So this is kind of an issue, because you're like, ooh, isn't inflation just going to happen? Like, isn't the basic needs of every human being going to raise from the price it is now to an even higher price? And the answer is it shouldn't, because the way to pay for it is something called a value-added tax. It's a VAT, and I don't completely understand the VAT so much.
Would you like it louder or softer?
Hey Siri, no.
Okay.
Automation. It's coming! Alright, so I don't truly understand a VAT. But what a VAT is kind of distributing the robotic wealth to every single human being. So Apple and Amazon, they're great at avoiding taxes. I think I read that Amazon didn't pay any taxes in 2019. Anyways, they avoid taxes so much that this VAT would make them pay a whole bunch of taxes. So the VAT would be implemented at every single level of production and, I guess, service. So you're asking yourself, yeah, wouldn't that raise the iPhone from, let's say, $1,000 it is right now to maybe $1,300 or $1,400? And the answer is yes, it would, because Apple will be looking for more profit. But here's the but: there's also other companies out there that might be willing to do it for cheaper and cut into their profits, because it's still going to be a capitalism economy, just it's going to be human capitalism. It's going to be focused on the human, which I think is important, since I'm a human and I kind of have the right of pursuit of happiness according to the Constitution. And I think this is kind of falls under that. Really complex, but yeah, a value-added tax. So it's hard to implement, because I don't think it would be implemented on, let's say, like groceries, but it would be definitely on technological consumption. So I think maybe like the more companies use robots, the more they're going to be taxed. I don't know, it's a little complicated, and to pay for a UBI, it's going to be around like $1.4 trillion for every single human in America. That's a lot. But I think it has to be done. I think $1,000 every month for almost every human being, excluding below 18 and excluding above 65, I think it has to be done. And that $1,000, of course, has to be adjusted for inflation. If it's not, then what's the point? I really believe in universal basic income, and this book taught me how. Through 200 pages and through a whole lot of doomsday talk, it got me to join Andrew Yang's side. And I really hope he's going to be a president candidate for either 2024, 2028, 2032, 2036, or 2040. I just hope he's there in the Oval Office one day. Doesn't have to be now, because the issues he wants to deal with aren't really now, but the foundation of the issues he's talking about is now, and we do have to make change, because if we're not, the world's going to be a scary place in the future. Because Andrew Yang identified one scenario how like groups of like truckers could just come together and just block like roads in protest, and then it could get violent, and then those truckers aren't really gonna have any jobs to go to. No, it's a scary place. And I think universal basic income is the way to go, because even in like the New Deal back after the Great Depression, the government funded creative projects, because back in the Great Depression, people weren't doing creative projects. They were just trying to find a way to live. And if you fund creative projects, which UBI does, people are happy. They get to do their passion in life. Huge issue here. Huge issue. That's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. Make sure you bless them. Peace out.